I'm not going to tell you to have New Year's resolutions. In fact, I'm going to tell you not to have them, um, but not in a defiant way. I have a good reason um, for saying this, and I'll start with a little story. By the way, this is the only setting where comparing life with animals and animal stories and fables isn't weird. We do this around the fire in South Africa. This is the one thing I haven't been able to replicate or reproduce in Europe since living here. There's no feeling like sitting around the fire and telling stories, and just being with yourself, hearing yourself so clearly. It's a wonderful thing. So here's my story. It starts like this. There was a wildebeest. His name was Lanu. Lanu was a fairly average wildebeest among many, many hundreds of other beasts. No, wildebeest. Um, and it was just before the migration time, and there was talk among the elders of this river, the river that led to a better life. Now, Lanu heard this and thought, um, he wants to do something great with his life. He wants to be the best version of himself. He's going to cross that river and seek that better life. As fate would have it, he one day came across this river, and as he got closer and closer, he just heard the rushing current, and it became louder and louder, and fear filled his heart. And as he was looking into the river and gazing at this fearful reflection of himself, his heart just filled with fear, and he stepped back thinking, this river is cursed. I just can't even think how I could cross it. So he returned to his herd, walking around almost feeling guilty about how fearful he felt when gazing into the river, and how far he felt from being able to cross it, that it plagued his heart for days, up to the point where one evening these thoughts just mauled through his mind, and he couldn't stop thinking about it, and he decided to return on this lovely evening. And as he approached it, the moon lit the river surface, and as he gazed over the edge into the river, he just saw this magnificent beast staring back at him. And at this point he realized that his fear had nothing to do with the river, but his own reflection and how he felt about it. That's the beauty of a fable. It's a very simple story. I don't think he ever crossed it in the end. That's not the important part. The important part is that he realized that finding a better life, finding his better self, being the best that he can be, had nothing to do with crossing the river. It was all about his perception of himself. As we enter into the new year, we have to ask ourselves one thing, and that thing is, if nobody else could see us, if we 1 year from now sat around a fire and there was no one to judge us and no one to praise us, what is it that we want to feel about ourselves? So one practical way of applying this to your life is calming down a little bit about the resolutions, and getting to see yourself for the beast that you are, to be able to admire your reflection without doing anything. I think that's the rub, the essence of this message is that first, before you make any decisions about what you want to achieve, strip off all those requirements and change the feeling of what you feel when you see your own reflection. Or put in other words, when you come face to face with yourself, what you need to feel is not that urge to improve, but pure love. So Happy New Year. Be kind to yourself. Chill with the resolutions. You're a magnificent beast.